Let me show you how to make white asparagus. This is the asparagus. It's washed already. So what you do first is cut off the ends, because these are hard and not nice to eat. So just get rid of the really rear end. Just a little bit, not too much. Okay. Save the ends, because you will need them, and for the broth that we are going to cook the asparagus in. So for cooking, I use, of course, a special asparagus cooking pot, which has this inner thing, a cage that the asparagus stands in afterwards. So it's a large pot, very high, and you can use, of course, another pot that fits the asparagus. So then what you need to do is peel the asparagus. You can either use a tiny and sharp knife, and that's a little bit more work then, of course, but be sure that you really peel everything. So it looks like an effort, and indeed without the appropriate training or routine, it can be a little bit difficult, but in the end it will pay back if you peel it really nicely. I use an asparagus peeler that makes it a little bit easier. You might have something similar, and then just be sure that you peel it completely. Do a little bit more at the end, probably, because this is where it's where the asparagus tends to get bitter, and the texture of the asparagus might be a little bit more like straw if you don't peel it correctly. Okay. So the best to keep it for the time being when peeled, because you will not cook it immediately, because you are going to cook the peel first. Put it into a plastic bag so that it keeps its moisture, and put it back in the refrigerator. So this is the last asparagus that needs peeling. You see all the peel here on the desk. This took about 10 minutes now, and you can see with the peeler it's not that difficult. So if you want to do it more often, then probably a peeler is a good idea. So this is the asparagus. It goes into the fridge now. And all the peel, as I said before, goes into that basket. Okay. So, fill the pot with water. It doesn't need to be full, of course. You can add water afterwards, depending on how much asparagus you have in the pot. What we add is salt, quite some salt and also some sugar. About 2 spoons. And now this gets on the oven. There it sits on the oven, and now it will be cooked at about middle to middle high temperature for about an hour, I would say. This has cooked now for about an hour. You see? So we take this off the oven, get the peel out of it, and put the asparagus in. This is the broth now. It looks clear but a little bit yellowish. So I taste it now to see if it's if it has enough salt. Yep. It should have a good, nice aroma already, so should be very easy to taste if it's okay. Just to give you an idea what we have in addition to the asparagus, this will be the potatoes. They will be cooked. Of course we need to add some salt here. What I also add is caraway to it. Oops. Okay. And some bay leaves. I'll try to do this with one hand. Okay. So they will cook now on the side as well. And I also heat up some water just to fill up the liquid or the water for the broth. Once the asparagus comes in, you see it's already boiling here. Just to add up so much water that the asparagus is covered in water up to the tip. Okay, so here I have my asparagus. This is the basket that goes into the pot. I put my asparagus in, and that comes into the pot then. Again, if you do not have a pot with such a basket, you can use any pot as well. Of course, have the asparagus lying into the broth, and then just cook it in any other pot. So what you also will need is a good chunk of butter that goes into the broth afterwards, together with the asparagus. And then we have some butter here in this little pot that I will melt and add some fresh parsley afterwards. That goes over the finished asparagus afterwards. You can also make your own hollandaise or something like that. But today we're going with just the butter and the parsley. And this is what we have with the asparagus and the potatoes. This is some nice German hams and some Italian hams as well. This is bresaola and this is coppa. Time to put the asparagus into the boiling broth. So now you can see the broth does not completely fill up the pot, of course. It's only halfway to the tip of the asparagus. That's why I add some boiling water. Leave the tips out of the boiling water. That will help you because the tip is very tender, so it will cook much faster than the rest of the asparagus. I add the butter, and then it doesn't need to cook very hard. It should just boil a little. Once you added the water, Of course, the broth is not as intensive as it was before, so you should try it again if it still has enough salt and sugar. If you think it could use a little bit more, then just add. That will take about 15 minutes or 20 minutes, depending on how soft and tender you would like to have the asparagus. If you like it like with the pasta, more al dente, with a little harder, then just try after 15 minutes, and then you can decide if you want to have it really soft or not. Then just leave it somewhat longer in the broth. Okay, this is the parsley that we will use for the butter afterwards, and for the potatoes. Just cut it. Take care of your fingers. That's about it. And then we go into the butter afterwards and a little bit over the potatoes. Just to show you how to check if the asparagus is nice, I'm not an endorser of AEG, by the way. Get a fork and just get one out and try the very end of one. Specifically one that's thicker, so you know if it's okay. It's getting good, but it's still a little bit not soft enough for my taste, so I just leave it in a little bit. So the asparagus is ready to go. Here's my little bowl. I get it out of the water. Okay. It's difficult with one hand, but put it into the bowl. You see, some of them are soft already, so that they kink. Others not necessarily. Here are my peeled potatoes, our ham. Okay. The broth, of course, is good for a nice soup, so add some vegetables and cook them until they are tender, and that's a very nice basis for a good vegetable soup. And then we have our parsley here. Here's the butter. And we add the parsley to the butter. Okay, the rest goes over the potatoes. Heat it up a little bit. Use a spoon. Just so that it begins to boil. This is how it should be. It's good enough. And then you can start. Okay, bon appetit. What you can drink, of course, is a nice white wine, probably from the Rhine-Hessian area, a nice Riesling, something like that.